Namaste. Myself CA Pramod Jain, and I am receiving several queries in relation to the amount to be spent under CSR under the Companies Act 2013. Friends, we all know that there is a recent amendment on 22nd of January 2021 which has changed the compliance of CSR in relation to spend to be made of the 2% of the average profits for the last 3 years. Up to March 2020, the provision was that you have to spend that 2% of the average profit of the last 3 years. And if you are not spending, then the company had to give a reason in its director's report. By the Companies Amendment Act 2019, the amendment was made, which has been made effective from 22nd January 2021. The change which has been made is that now if you don't spend, you have to give that amount to one of the specified funds in Schedule 7. The rule is that if you don't spend that amount, that unspent amount, if it is not for an ongoing project, you have to deposit that into any of the specified funds in the Schedule 7 of the Companies Act 2013 within 6 months from the end of the financial year. Yani for March 2021, if you don't spend, if the company doesn't spend, it has to deposit that amount into that specified fund by September 2021. And for this purpose, earlier where it was not mandatory to make a provision for the unspent amount, now it would be mandatory to make a provision in the books of accounts for the unspent amount. Either you spend it by 31st March, if you don't spend, make a provision, and it is not that you can spend later. You have to, in that case, deposit that amount in schedule fund if the amount is there for not an ongoing project. If the amount is for an ongoing project, which can be not more than 3 years, then you have to open a separate bank account within 30 days from the end of the financial year. That is an unspent CSR account, and transfer that fund into that new account and spend within 3 years. If you don't spend within 3 years, then again after 3 years, within 30 days, you have to transfer that amount to that specified fund under Schedule 7. So earlier, up to March 20, if you did not spend, just explain. But now if you don't spend, you have to make a provision and then deposit it in the schedule fund or the specified bank account. The question which arises for the funds which were not spent up to March 2020, there are two ways in which the company dealt it. First, where the company did not spend, it gave the reason but did not make a provision, saying whatever the reason they gave that they are not able to spend or they will not spend. But when they said that it was not spending in this year, would be spending in the next year, and made a provision in the books of accounts. So there in the books of accounts, it's now is there as an unspent CSR amount. So that unspent CSR amount also, if it is not spent by 2021, that remains an unspent amount, and then it has to be now deposited into Schedule 7 fund, specified fund. There could be a controversy into it saying that it is not related to this year, but then amount, it is actually an unspent CSR amount. So there could be different views, but my view here, it is an unspent CSR amount. If you don't spend by 31st March 2021, you'll have to deposit. If it is an ongoing project, a separate bank account to be spent within 3 years. If it is not an ongoing project, then you have to make a provision and deposit in the Schedule 7 funds. So please take care, either spend by 31st March 2021, and if you don't spend, create a provision accordingly, whether it is for an ongoing project or not, and then take an action if 30 days gone by. Otherwise, if you don't open a separate bank account within 30 days, the penalties are there. The penalties are already specified there. I'm not going into detail into the provisions, but just saying that spend the amount by 31st March 2021. Otherwise, be prepared to give it to the government and the Schedule 7 fund. And auditors and companies, please take care. Provision is required now, which was not required earlier. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you. Thank you.